5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woohoo! Welcome, one and all, to Lyme Regis. My name is, anyone hazard a guess? Thank you. Mary Anning. And I am here today to welcome you to my hometown. And I'm thrilled to be able to have this little bit of time to tell you all about my life, how I started collecting, to give you a few tips about collecting. Some of you might have heard me talk earlier up at the statue of myself. But I'm also delighted. You were there, I recognize you. And but I would love to introduce you also to my co-star today, who I was actually not alive to see in my lifetime. No. This man was in shorts and nappies when I was bound my way out of this earth. But how I wish he'd been alive at the time when I was collecting to tell me about the fossils that I found. And today, I hope he'll do just that, as long as some of his theories as well. Mr. Charles Darwin, welcome in Lyme Regis, Mr. Darwin.
And thank you, Mary. And I think for someone your age, you're looking very, very good, if I might say so.
Thank you very much. Over 200 years old, I've not had any work done. So there you go. Look what can be done with that. Yeah, that's right. Get yourself a better seat.
Okay.
Good for you.
Later on, I'm going to tell you about a great adventure that I went on down to South America, looking for fossils and looking for plants and animals. So, but before I do that, I'm going to have Mary Anning to tell you, because she came before me, about her life and how she's arrived here today. Thank you very much. Carry on, Mary.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you indeed. So what I might have been struck by, yes, my love. Lightning! I was indeed struck by lightning. Would you like a little bit? We've got a prize. Would you like to give a medal to our... Charles Darwin, it might be some time, but I'm going to give you a little baby dinosaur in answer to your present. So, I was indeed struck by lightning. He was a cabinet maker. He also had a shop in Lyme Regis. Have any of you seen the River Lyme, where it meets the sea, the salt water? Over that river, we walked past it, didn't we? That's right, we walked past it earlier. 2 times. Well done, you saw it twice. I saw it quite a bit more than that, because during my lifetime, that river broke through my house so many times I can't remember. Because my first house, where I grew up, was over that river. And the amount of times that river broke through our house, I tell you, when we sat on the stairs watching all our stuff wash away. So right from an early age, I learned about the power of the elements. And I went out collecting with my father. Now, we all know fossils are called fossils, but when I was a child, what were these called? What were fossils called when I was a child? What can you think? Yes, my love? Oh, you're so on the tip of your tongue, isn't it? Like creations, but not. Do you have an idea? Yes? I can almost hear it. Let's pull it out of her mouth. Treasures, almost. My favorite book written on me is called Mary Anning's Treasures by Helen Bush. Look it up. You have to buy it on eBay, but it's absolutely beautiful book. Yes? Ammonites. Well. We will come to those later on, but I do believe you earn a little tiny little. Look at that shiny one. Don't find many of them around. They were called, do you know my... We look for curiosities, curios. I had a curiosity shop when I was growing up. Now, people in Lyme Regis did not know what fossils were. It took men like Charles Darwin here to educate us a little bit more about fossils and where they came from. But when I was a girl, we were finding things like this on the beach. Now, who was it who said ammonites? Yes. This, of course, is an ammonite. Do you know what we called it when I was collecting as a child?
Yeah.
A snake stone! Thank you, Mini-Me.
Oh.
Here we are. Here's a little dinosaur for you too. A snake stone, indeed. Because we did not know what these things were. We didn't know that they might once have been alive. We thought that maybe God had decorated the inside of the earth, just like he had the outside of the earth with flowers and plants. And we thought this was a snake stone. And there were people in my village that used to grind these things up and put them in medicine for magical powers and medicinal powers. Now that's because we were all quite superstitious at that time. We believed the words of the Bible. We didn't know anything else. We didn't know certainly anything about how old these things were. If you told me then that this snake stone here, this ammonite, was 250 million years old possibly, I'd have fainted cold. But still, it was a curiosity. Now, we now believe that snake stones, ammonites, look like this. You might have seen a few of these around today, because we believe that they actually now moved up and down. You know what this stone is called? Now, I don't mind whether you have, it's a finger. Well, doesn't it look like one? That's exactly what people thought. We were called finger stones, yes?
Belemnite.
Belemnites is the actual name we call them now.
My
It's a
word.
fossil. That goes very well with your hair. Look at that. Yeah.
And one of those as well
Belemnites.
for a belemite.
Finger
My word.
stones, or indeed lightning stones. You can imagine someone who was struck by lightning as a girl quite like that nickname. Now, of course, we do believe that belemnites look something possibly a little bit like this. We have no idea, because as fossils, we only know the shape that was left behind. All the soft parts have been long gone to us. So that's what belemnites might have looked like. But again, we thought these stones had magical powers, just as the tide was going out. Now, you know when you're collecting, you have to get those tides right. And me and my brother Joseph were sitting on the struts on the beach, waiting for the tide, the waves to go down so we could get to the next strat. Then the waves would go down, we'd go to the next one, and we'll climb along the beach, and we'll find those mudslides, and around the bottom of the mudslides is where we'd find our treasures. And then one day we were walking past the cliffs. Don't get too close to those cliffs now if you're collecting. I used to collect in a top hat, very first safety gear, to keep my head safe. But we saw a round shape in the stone. Now, you know, if you're any kind of fossil collector, you look for irregularities in the stone. You look for patterns, like ammonite patterns, something that just doesn't make sense in that stone. And we saw a great big hole and a lot of jagged teeth. Now, it took us most of a week to free the skull of that creature. We had to then tell the whole of the village. We got the stone boatmen with their carts to come down with their cart to carry this thing up. And we took this skull back up to the town. Now, they thought I had found a devil in the cliff. They thought I'd found a dragon. An ichthyosaurus is what I found. And you can still see, you have got one here. Stand up and show everybody your ichthyosaurus. Now, obviously, the one I found with Joseph was a little bit bigger than this. But you can see the eye socket and the enormous length of that spine. We've got another fine specimen here of an ichthyosaurus, imagined in their full size as they are. Thank you very much. You can now sit down, sir. So an ichthyosaurus is what I found. You can still see that ichthyosaurus if you go to the Mary Anning Ring in the Natural History Museum. Yes, I have a wing all to myself. Finally. Now, are you about to ask a question, my love?
I'm going to tell.
You want to tell? What do you want to tell?
Your brother got the skull and you got the body.
I did! Thank you. He carried out the skull, and when we got that skull broken off, we heard it snap off or something, and we knew that there was not just a skull, there was a whole fish lizard inside that cliff. So it took us quite a while to get that out, I tell you. So you can imagine the reaction of the people in my hometown of Lyme Regis. Oh my goodness me. And of course, the next find was even more sensational. What was the name of the creature I found next? A plesiosaurus. Thank you so much. And you've actually got one here. Again, stand up and show everybody. Because this is even more extraordinary. Because when I found this, Nessie indeed, AKA, this is an even more extraordinary creature. Because of the long neck, we've got this mouth with the teeth again. It's got flippers. Now, this plesiosaur that I found, all on my own, was the first plesiosaur that people had seen outside Germany. They did not believe me. You can sit down, my love. Thank you so much. People did not believe that I had found. What did I know about science? How had I pulled it out of the cliff without breaking it, damaging it? is because I spent a lot of time cleaning it, preparing it carefully, bringing it out of its bedrock. So when I was visited by, has anybody heard, I hope not, of Sir George Cuvier, Frenchman, he came to visit me, scientist, and he declared that my plesiosaur skeleton was a fake. A fake. He said that I put together the head of a crocodile, the body of a duck-billed platypus. Where would I found a platypus in Lyme Regis? I do not know. But he said it was a fake. And I was very upset then because I thought my name was going to be associated with fakery and people thought I was just after the money. So then when it was verified and they found out that it was indeed a verifiable fossil and that it belonged to a creature no one had seen in this country before, I started to get a bit of a name for myself. Now, does anyone know the name of the third big creature that I found in Lyme Regis? This was perhaps the most mind-blowing of all my finds. Because not only, what was that?
Mosasaur.
That was a little bit bigger and it wasn't me, but a good guess. No! But I'll give you a clue. When I first found this creature in the rock, it looked like a broken up umbrella. It not only had a jawbone, but it had a tail with a fork on the end of it, and it had wings. What was this creature? A pterodactyl. It was in fact a pterosaur, and I think I've got a little tiny one here to give you. There we go. We got no, that's not a pterosaur. There we go. We have a pterosaur indeed. There he is. Woo! But when I found him, he looked like a broken umbrella. I did not know what this was, and it got my mind going. I was thinking, you've got a pterodactyl. Hold him up high so everyone can see. He's a cuter version of the one I found, I tell you. But I didn't know where these creatures came from. I didn't know that they'd been alive so long ago. And something that I then became famous for is something quite disgusting. Anyone know what this is?
Dino poo.
Thank you. Dino poo. I've had some very imaginative words for this afternoon. But coprolites. Oh,
did you get that right?
Congratulations, sir. You did.
You didn't.
There's your little
Did
dinosaur.
you get it right?
Now, he
No?
did get it right. Over there. Let's have
Oh.
a medal for this young chap.
Right.
Well done.
No,
now,
done.
coprolites, and we had no idea what this is. Give it a smell. I know, you can't tell from the smell what it is. It doesn't smell anything. No. So I was preserving these. I would make meticulous drawings, and in the middle of some of these stones, I would find tiny little fish bones, and that got me thinking. There was a creature at some time that ate a load of small fish and then got rid of it. And this was the waste product. So I'm thinking there are creatures I'm finding in these cliffs that had a life, that lived so long ago that even their remains have turned to stone. And it got me thinking, maybe the world is a little bit older than we think. Maybe I don't know as much as I think I did. And how I wish I'd lived long enough to meet this next man. And I can't wait to ask him some questions and have him tell me about his life and his adventures. Charles, please let me hand over to you and let me take our lovely medals, because there'll be more prizes.
Well, once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. What I would like to do is to tell you about a great adventure that I went on. I was on a ship that was going down to South America. Now, does anybody here know the name of the ship that I went sailing on? Does anybody know? Yes, sir. A sailing ship.
Really good
Well,
guess?
there's a good start. It was a sailing ship. Anybody know? It's the name of a dog.
Beagle.
The beagle.
Now,
The
I can't give you
beagle.
another medal because
No,
you
no.
already got one. You can have another dinosaur though.
I sailed on the Beagle. It was captained by Captain Fitzroy. Now, Captain Fitzroy was given the job of going down to South America, and he had to map out the whole of the coastline. So he was sailing up and down, going up creeks, and then finding out how deep the water was. It was a job that was going to take him 3 years at least to do this. So, while he was going up and down mapping out South America, it was my chance, and that's why I was taken on the ship, to go ashore and look for things that you would never find in England or Europe, because we knew a lot about England and Europe then, but South America, the jungles and the pampas down there was a bit of a mystery. So my job was to go around looking for things and go, well, I've never seen one of those before. What is that? Interesting. I'm going to keep this. Oh.
Charles, you have a visitor.
Oh.
Does anyone remember what his name is?
Come this
He
way,
is,
sir.
like, definitely a Rex, a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I know his real name.
Well, how good to see you. Yes, yeah. He speaks dinosaurish. Yes, and what else? Right. Yeah, he says that he lived millions of years ago. Well, would you believe? You can see how hard it is to believe, can't you? And you can understand why people in those days just couldn't understand a creature like this. And also, there's a baby one. That would have come out of an egg. That would have come out of an egg, wouldn't it? Yes. Look at that little one. Wow. Well, I'm very, very impressed with you, sir. And just mind your tail when you turn round and knocking everybody over.
Bye-bye.
Keep away from the back end.
Back to the plot. Where were we?
Back to South America. So there I would be walking through like the jungle area, and I would see plants that we've never seen in this country before, and I would say, we're going to keep that one. There's a nice one. And then I had them all. Then when Fitzroy came sailing by again, I would get all these plants and all the things I'd found and take them on the ship, which he didn't like very much. A sloth.
That is one of the animals that Charles Darwin found, a giant sloth. We had no idea what it was.
Yeah. It ran away when I went to it. No, it didn't, did it? Because they
don't run very fast.
Move very, very slow. Yeah. So there I was, looking for all these different plants and things. And then I went up onto the high plateau. Now, I'm talking about being up like 600, 700, 1,000 feet up. 1,000 feet up, right? And I would look down and I'd say, what is that? Have you got a ammonite there?
Yeah, an ammonite. Here we go. Oh, no.
Anyway.
Where's the ammonite? Yeah. Here it is. What's something like that?
This is like 1,000 feet up. What's this? Because, I know you all know what this is. But I thought to myself, what is this? What is it doing up so high? How possibly could that be?
Because we know that they lived in the ocean.
They lived at the bottom of the ocean.
Mountain.
I'm 1,000 feet up. Pardon?
Ammonites.
Ammonites, yes. So
It's because where the mountain was, water was there long ago. So that and it died there. So it got stuck there.
Yes.
And the water.
That's right.
Went away.
That's right. But how did it get so high? Right? Well, after thinking this, I came down towards the coast again to meet the ship, and as I was getting there, suddenly, the land started to move backwards and forwards. Whoa! I was going, whoa! And then I looked down, and there, in the ground, was this huge crack appeared. One side of it lifted up and the other side was down. And I thought, wow, Captain Fitzroy, well, he had a fit because he'd been going round saying how deep the oceans were, and suddenly the oceans came up came up a meter
Like
high.
what you said, yeah, the sea rose.
So I thought, well, maybe over hundreds of thousands of years, this high plateau that I was on was once down by the sea level, and because of the earthquakes that had taken place, then the land is slowly, only millions of years, had moved up, up, up. So that was the start of my thoughts of how long these things take. Like for instance, I thought to myself, well, maybe that is why the cheetah is one of the fastest runners there is, and it can run away and catch things better than the others. So then the deers, they would have to get out of the way of the cheetahs or the lions and tigers, so they all had their own mechanism to survive. And the ones that survived the better are the ones that went on to reproduce. So then you had, like for instance, can anybody tell me of... Yeah, breeding, that's it. It's what life's all about, breeding. But now, you think of Africa and you think of the trees up high. What creature in the Africa has a long, long neck? A giraffe, very good. That's a surprise prize for a giraffe.
Yeah.
Now the idea being that years ago, maybe hundreds of years ago, the vegetation was lower down. And then, as they got eaten away, the ones with the longer neck were the ones that survived. And they passed their genes on to the next one. And then they ate around all the ones at the bottom, and then the ones with the longer necks. So we end up with a giraffe can get its food from way up, and he doesn't have to worry about all the flora and fauna on the bottom, because he has his own way of eating. And that was the start of evolution.
But this is quite extraordinary, Mr. Darwin, because what you were talking about is something that we didn't know about when I was your age. We didn't know that actually people had evolved, animals had evolved, creatures had evolved over millions of years. I didn't have any concept of that time. We thought in the Bible the world was no more than, say, 2,000 years old. So how could the world have existed for that long to allow creatures to evolve a longer neck to eat leaves at the tops of trees? So this was Mr. Darwin's great idea, evolution, the fact that life could change, could adapt to its environment, but this could not happen overnight. So we are going to investigate what that length of time looks like.
So this machine here, because there's no expense spared when it comes to the Fossil Festival, no expense spared, we have this timeline. Now, I'm going to ask for volunteers in a moment, because we're going to pull it out, and if you can see here, that's 5.5 billion years ago. Now, scientists today think that that's when the Earth, the universe began, right? We might find out that they're wrong, but up until now, that's what they think the age of it is. And that little black line there probably represents about 1,000 years in our time. So,
right then.
Do
we have a volunteer to hold the very end? Up you get. You look trustworthy. Now, very, very carefully, you're going to take the end of this timeline.
And
let me say, you want to say what that says? Start of time, when time began.
Who's a good reader?
Yes, right.
Right.
You come on behind here.
Oh, you, and you love, yeah.
Yeah.
What I want you to do is come
around
around here.
Don't worry, we're going to use all of you.
Yeah, we're going to use you all, don't worry.
Yeah. Let's go behind
Come around this side.
Come around this side.
Come around this side.
Come around this side.
What I want you to read out is, you
and
take it in turn, like what it says on there. Say it out loud so everybody can hear.
What's it say
5
there?
billion years ago, Earth was formed along with the other planets.
Right, so we're at 5 billion years.
Right.
Are you 5 billion years old?
You can walk
No.
that way,
Is
my
your
love.
little
Keep going
picture on your face
until
5
you
billion
stay
years old?
here.
It's a long
You
time,
stay
isn't
here.
it? Very old.
Right,
if you're
keep
5 billion
going.
years.
Keep up. Here we come.
Oh.
We got something now.
4.5
4.5
years.
billion years from there to
So
there.
let's keep going.
Keep going. Keep
I
going.
I can't even get in my head what a billion year is.
What's that one?
Billions of years.
4 billion years ago.
4 billion years. Keep going.
But nothing's existing.
There's nothing. There's
nothing.
3.5
Oh,
billion years.
Keep going, keep going.
Hang on.
Don't fall off the cliff.
Hang on, your billions of years are going by too quick.
Oh, 3 billion
3
years.
billion. We're up to 3
Nothing
billion.
is happening. 2.5.
Hang on.
2.
When you get to Chalmers, stop.
1.5 billion.
Oh,
Slow down,
we might
slow
have-
down, slow
we might have
down.
to go out that way.
What
Come
is
on,
it?
Mini-Me. Let's take
what
on
does
a
that one-
diagonal. That's it. Right, give ourselves a bit more
What does that
room.
one say?
We need
First-
some volunteers to hold the middle of it steady.
Hang on. Hang on. Whoa,
Keep going.
whoa.
Stop, 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 stop.
Planet, so I don't know how the ocean's got there, but anyway.
Oh, okay. First
Keep
selfies here
going.
in the ocean. Keep going, keep going.
Whoa, no, slow down.
Stop, stop, stop. Wow.
The dinosaurs only lasted from there to about there. There, that's the whole of the life of the dinosaurs.
Just read
so
that
look
one
how
out.
much there was before.
Age of dinosaurs ends. Oh, we got sellotape for that. Don't worry about it.
Now,
Don't worry about that.
Wait
You're
a minute,
holding it
we're at
together.
the end. We're at the end. Now we've got here the first humans appear.
The
And
first humans, Mr. Darwin.
we're at the end now, so don't pull.
Steady.
Let me think. For the first
Oh my
Homo
gosh.
sapiens, we're about right to
You holding that together?
people like me, Charles Darwin, and
Yeah.
all the famous people you can think of are in that little black line just there.
Congratulations.
So that black
Thank you
line
for holding it
represents
together.
all of human history. Thank you very much.
Thank
Wow.
you, Mr. Darwin. If
Right.
only I'd had you around when I was a girl to teach me about the age of the Earth, I wouldn't feel so old today. Let's reel it back in very, very carefully. Make sure we don't stamp on any first land plants or any
Right,
dinosaurs.
here we go. Hang on.
Life is vanishing before our eyes. Thank you very much for keeping it all so safe. But you see all these billions of years where there's nothing at
You
all.
are?
No life, no life, no
5
life.
million years
What was
old.
going on then?
Oh, Earth is, yes.
What was
yes.
going on then? 4
No, that was good, wasn't it?
billion years ago.
Look at all those
Wow.
years
No
going
wonder
by.
it's old.
Billions
Oh,
of
well
them.
done. You got the broken bit. We got the broken bit. We got the broken bit. Dun, dun,
You've
dun.
you've done really well. If there's anybody who would like to stop and ask any questions, or you'd like to have a photograph taken with us, you're most welcome
See, I
to.
like to keep. This young lady was saying, imagine if there was anything more than dinosaurs out there in this bit. We don't know, do we? And that is a scientific mind. If you keep a scientific mind, that means that you're not closing any doors. You're always open to things that you find. You're always open to ideas. Hello there.
What's after us?
And what's after us? Well, that's why we've got to take care of the planet, isn't it? We've got to take care of this planet, otherwise there won't be anything after us. Now, we've got a little bit of a time chasm here, Mr. Darwin. We might need a little bit of your magical
Tape
sellotape stuff that I
for tomorrow.
don't know exists. Yep. There
Oh,
we
look.
go. Thank you for looking after
Oh.
the broken bit. Thank
That's
you,
going to
Mini-Me.
cost a fortune to be able to repair that.
Thank you so much
Bye-bye.
for volunteers. Thank you for staying to the bitter end of time, or the beginning of time.